Good evening, folks. Dr. Freedom here. Time some Doctor News. News from in and around the universe that may or may not affect you, strike you, and even subconsciously deflate your, inner soul. I don't know. It's just some weird things that have come up over the last 24 hours. As you all know, today is the kicking off day for San Diego Comic-Con, which for some crazy reason, there's not going to be any Doctor Who panel at. Why? I don't know. It still just freaks me out that they didn't bother to send anything to SDCC this year, other than, of course, typical stuff. But let's get into the news. Let's hop onto it. All right. Okay. Let's get right onto the stuff you do want to hear about. All right. Boom. First off, I forgot to mention this last night, but of course, no, Doctor Who did not receive any Emmy nominations. And even though the mainstream media was throwing fits about Series 11, saying it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, it didn't receive any Emmy nominations, sadly. But at the same time, you have to look at the fact that Game of Thrones walked away with like 32 Emmy nominations. And yet, keep in mind, this last series of Game of Thrones was the one that fans were throwing fits about, jumping around like somebody lit a hot firecracker in their anus. Yet it's probably, I think it broke the record for Emmy nominations for a series. 32 Emmy nominations. Yet it sucked. It was bad. I can't see the action. And it just reminded me a lot of what was going on with Series 11. But let's keep going, shall we? Doctor Who did get nominated for 3 Saturn Awards. Best Science Fiction TV Series. Best Actress in a Television Series, Jodie Whittaker. Best Performance by a Younger Actor on a Series, Taz Cole. Winners for the Saturn Awards will be announced on September 13th. Once again, I love how the fact that Series 11 is getting nominations. Now, the Emmy thing was submissions. Okay, those weren't noms to begin with. But the fact is, we've seen awards getting thrown out like BAFTAs and stuff like that on Series 11, yet it sucked. Oh, come on. Really? It's just getting ridiculous. All right, if you go here and click on this is over on Instagram. This is Jodie wishing Comic-Con a merry, 50th anniversary. Yeah, I have a slight problem with the guys who run San Diego Comic-Con, and that's the fact that if any other major convention uses the name Comic-Con now, they can be sued by San Diego, even though Comic-Con isn't even a frickin' word. It's short for Comic Convention, yet nobody else is allowed to use it because now they're claiming they own the copyright to it. What a bunch of tight asses. But at the same time, I'm just glad, and this is basically the only video they're getting is this small little, congratulations on your 50th from Jodie Whittaker. Okay, this is the BBC America booth at SDCC. Don't worry, I'll provide a link for it so you can go take a look at it. It's over on Twitter. And there's the booth. Bam, there you go. But also check these out. These are really neat, these portraits. Jodie Whittaker and Dr. Leeds of old look out of this world in these new portraits. But these are the portraits I just, pointed at you at the last thing there. And here's a nice little thing of them here. If you go down, you can check them out here. But so go check these out if you want. This is over on the Radio Times. Okay. Dr. Big Finish, this is a reminder that this weekend is going to be the 20 hours of audio dramas for Big Finish. Matter of fact, Big Finish Productions released a preview trailer of the 20th anniversary live stream this weekend with a 20-hour live stream on the official Doctor YouTube channel with more than 20 episodes of Doctor audio dramas and their related spin-offs that will be in the stream. This, of course, includes Unit, Torchwood, The Gallifrey Chronicles, Diary of River Song, and more spin-offs involving past Doctors and their companions. And here's the stream, blah, 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 and here's the video for that if you want to go take a look at it. So it's now the 20th anniversary of Big Finish, and it's really nice that they've been there this whole time because for you folks who are fans of the classic era or, you want to hear more adventures of your classic Doctors and whatnot, Big Finish is a great avenue to pursue, especially if you're in a mind-numbingly tedious job like mine. It really helps take you away from that job. You just basically turn your brain off and let your hands do the work kind of job. Okay, Chris Eccleston, Dr. Nine, is going to Edmonton Expo on September 20th to the 22nd. So if you're going to be at the or if you're going to want to go to the Edmonton Expo, which is going to be at the Edmonton Expo Center, and of course, Edmonton, Canada. I believe that's Edmonton, Alberta. I can't remember. But if you're interested in this, Eccleston's going to Canada this September, all right? Okay, there's going to be an improvised Doctor Who musical at this year's Edinburgh Fringe. An improvised Doctor Who musical. Yeah. It's called Any Suggestions, Doctor, and it's the brainchild of the improv troupe made up of comedians Lewis Dunn, Charles Dean, Louise Jones, James Gablin, Harry Whittaker, Michael Stallworthy, and Zach Sizer. They promise to help the audience travel anywhere in time and space with their live radiophonic workshop. They've got a similar set to. They'll be turning the Pleasance Kingdom into an onstage TARDIS. So this sounds like it's going to be something pretty funny, something cool. So if you're anywhere near that Scottish place, be sure to maybe go take a look at this. And this article, I could not disagree with more in my lifetime. Why Doctor Who can't sustain dark storytelling. And the thing is, yes, it can, and it has. It's just some of the reasons that are laid out in this article just really blew my mind. Like, he had plenty of justification here, because in the beginning, you remember, they were just trying to find their footing. They were running all over the place, and a lot of decisions, as he said, depending on what's going on, whose mind was getting made up that week, stuff like that. But what got me is when he got to the Baker era, he goes on about the fact that the reason keep in mind, this is the Fourth Doctor era, with Philip Chimcliffe, Robert Holmes. Listen to this. The reason this couldn't be sustained was twofold. Firstly, the BBC was getting complaints. Secondly, Robert Holmes was exhausted. Now, as I scroll through this, he fails to mention at all that the 9/10 of the complaints were coming from an old biddy named Mary Whitehouse. So no, it wasn't the public at large that was complaining for the most part. It was this old biddy who had nothing better to do than, the crocheting club isn't working out, so I'll go here and I'll bitch at the BBC about how this is the same person who threw a fit because, remember, Doctor Who was in a serial format, and during The Deadly Assassin, you had that bit where, the doctors or things being held underwater, who actually had the nerve to say that she thought kids would think that the Doctor was being held underwater all week. And hence, they shouldn't show that. But of course, that's all skimmed over quickly. Because basically the Hinchcliffe era is proof positive that, hell yes, you can sustain a dark tone. Oh, God. And Robert Holmes was exhausted. Oh, please. Get over it. Oh, but then goes on to explain this point. But the thing is, it's just a quick skim over, reinforcing an opinion that I really don't think is valid. But, this is Andrew's opinion. Maybe he thinks of it this way, but I don't. Some of the best Doctor Who out there has been when the Doctor got really dark. But let's get off that. That was the last article for today. Like I said, I didn't plan on coming on tonight even because I didn't think there'd be a whole lot to cover, but then I forgot, today is San Diego Comic-Con. Also, all you American-type folks, please kindly remember that this Saturday, July 20th, 2019, is the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing, the first time man set foot on another world. And to me, it's kind of sad that, the entire crew couldn't be here to celebrate the 50th anniversary of that event. But it's just such a pivotal moment. And like I said, as far as I'm concerned, after that, we went downhill. Because a lot of people were going, oh, great, look, the space shuttle. And I'm sitting there like, oh, great, it can't do shit other than go to orbit back and forth. That's all it can do. Yet everybody thought it was the greatest thing, since the Wright brothers put an airplane up in the first place. But all I'm saying is this. To me, it was such a major accomplishment. And you still have all these dodos out there running around trying to claim, because they can't accept the fact that we can do great things. They're still pulling that whole moon landing was a hoax bull crap, when meanwhile you can explain every single inconsistency that they come up with. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe we ought to get them and the flat earthers together. They can get together, have a little congregation. I wonder how that would turn out. Maybe I don't want to know. So, folks, please, until next time, like I said, remember this Saturday. It's a very pivotal day, a very important anniversary. And that's about all I had for you. So take care of yourselves. See you on the flip side, kiddies. Good night.